We are back with Bill Phillips, Business Development Manager, Jason Taylor, Director of Research and Development. Good to see you, gentlemen.
Nice to meet you.
And we're going to be talking Eyetrax. Sounds quite fancy. What is Eyetrax?
Well, Eyetrax is a fully autonomous camera. If I was to paint it with a broad brush, it's where you can't put another camera. You know, it gives you the opportunity to see things that where there's no Wi-Fi, there's no power. You know, you put a camera out in the woods, you can put a camera on a gate, you can put anywhere that you wouldn't expect to be able to see something, you can actually utilize an Eyetrax camera.
And Bill, I see one right behind you here.
It is.
That's a slick looking device right there.
It is. It's the Predator.
It's the Predator. That's the Predator right there. So battery powered, solar powered, it doesn't need to be plugged in anywhere?
No, it just utilizes the solar power. You know, once it's charged, it lasts for 5 days. And, you know, you can pretty much put it up anywhere.
All right. So, Bill, let me ask you, where does this Predator, this Eyetrax, fit in along this whole spectrum of security cameras?
So, Eyetrax would fit in where you can't have an IP camera. So, where you just have solar, where you can't have Wi-Fi, where you can't have power, that's where you would utilize an Eyetrax camera. The beauty part of being part of Cancom and Eyetrax is that I can develop a hybrid solution for where you do have your power, where you have your Wi-Fi, but then utilize in the back of a construction company or in the back of a field, the back of a farm, or an HOA for that matter. I can utilize an Eyetrax to create a hybrid solution that has you fully covered.
You could put these things in the forest. You could put these things in the desert.
That's where they survive. That's where they thrive. Yeah, absolutely. Where you don't think that you can have a camera, that is our niche. If you can't fit something there, it's not, you know what, how are we ever going to be able to monitor this? You put an Eyetrax camera.
I love companies that look for solutions right out of the gate. Let's do this. We can do this. We're capable. Let's do it. Are these things popular in the desert, out in the forest, out in the woods?
Sure, sure, absolutely. I mean, where there's more sunshine, they're the best. I mean, we do have other options for, you know, obviously for Canada, you know, where we have a little bit, you know, the winter solstice and that kind of stuff. You know, we can add additional battery packs. We can add extra solar panels, wind turbines. I mean, there's all kinds of options. We make sure that they operate, and we keep them on. We are at the mercy of Mother Nature, right? Of course. We're dealing with solar. So we got to make sure that we keep our cameras up and running, so we come up with solutions for that.
So these things are going nonstop in California. In
they
Florida,
they are.
Texas. Yeah.
Texas is great. I mean, we actually have a customer in Texas that he was having problems with human traffickers. Okay, the cartel was cutting his locks on his gate, bringing you know, illegals across, and then cutting a hole in the other side of his gate of his ranch to bypass the border patrol. And we put one of these right smack dab in the middle of his front gate, and since then, knock on wood, not one single incident.
Because they've seen this hardware?
Yes, they've seen it. The Border Patrol actually comes, they approved it, and it's been absolutely money for this guy. Very happy customer.
Wow. Aside from this gentleman here, who else would benefit with something like this?
They're very popular in homeowners associations, so HOAs. What we've done now is for homeowners associations, we've taken away the motion sensor part of it to where it's not event-based anymore. Now it's a wide open camera. So because there's so much activity there, the motion sensor just isn't effective anymore. So what we've done is we've moved to edge storage. So now the camera's running 24/7, and if you have an incident within that time frame, we can go back, find that incident, and it's on there.
This is brilliant stuff. How secure, maybe Jason, this is a question for you, is all the data that's gathered from a device like this?
Yeah, so we have developed our own solution for managing the storage as well as granting access to the content. And we have a multi-layer approach. It's ISO certified, so it's very, very secure. But it's also very easy to manage who can see what. So obviously we have thousands of customers using these cameras now and thousands of these cameras in the field. But you know, we may have a customer who has 50 employees and 200 cameras, but not everybody gets to see every camera. At the same time, you have different levels of access. So you might want to give certain employees access to see the camera, but not manage the content of a camera. So we have, as I said, we have several different layers of security built into the system. None of the content is publicly available. You have to log in securely through our system to be able to even see anything.
Right.
If you even try and, for example, share a link to a video, it won't work for that person that you share the link. They have to log in first. So it is very, very secure.
And more of your clients want to be there. They just want to be a touch away from what's going on. So
Yeah, access is key. The security has to be very robust. I mean, it's a security company, so it's got to be very robust. But at the same time, it should be transparent to the user. You want the experience to be completely seamless. And we're now at a point with Cancom and Eyetrax where we're starting to integrate all of the different services into one experience.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, if a customer has Eyetrax cameras and they also get other services such as security guards from Cancom, they'll be able to see all of their information all together in one location securely.
That's amazing.
Genius.
This thing right here, this Predator, it seems like the future of what you guys do. But what's the future of Eyetrax?
So we are starting to implement things like artificial intelligence and machine learning, where we're going to be able to take video feeds or even just still images, analyze those on the fly, be able to send alerts based on certain criteria. So, for example, we can say, okay, we want to look at this particular area within the frame of the video,
Right.
and if we see certain activities happening there, so for example, you might see somebody leave a bag where they shouldn't be, or we can even detect different types of human behavior, like somebody smashing a window or breaking into a car or any kind of activity like that. And that can alert security guards who might be on site to say,
Right.
hey, this camera just detected something, you got to get over there.
That's an instant thing.
Yeah.
So these things are manned 24/7. There's always someone monitoring these eyes here of this Eyetrax.
It's up to the customer for that.
Yeah.
I mean, we obviously do offer a monitoring service, but the customer can have this on their cell phone, tablet, computer from anywhere in the world. So if they have a notification, they just pull up their cell phone, scroll through the camera, and they have their actual camera right there. So it's monitorable from anywhere.
Since you're in hardware, you're in software, was it in your contracts to leave a good at least, what is that, 20, at least, what is that, maybe 3
Couple
feet
feet.
in between you two?
We're actually a tight-knit family too, you know?
Yeah,
Like, we all get
closely
along.
together.
We just don't sit very close together.
And what are you learning as the days go by in each other's fields from hardware and software?
Well, between the two companies, between Cancom and Eyetrax, like I say, they fall under the same umbrella, but we all work extremely well together. A customer wants to know about the security. So after they contacted me and I've run them through the hardware procedures, then I get Jason on the phone and he walks through the back end of it. You know, and by the time that we're finished, the customer's on board with what we're selling. I mean, we've kind of dotted the I's and crossed the T's on this kind of project to where we're very comfortable and very proud of what we've done.
The
The other thing I would add there is we get a lot of good customer feedback, right?
Yeah.
So we have a constant feedback loop where we can improve our software, and we also control all the software on the camera itself, the firmware. So we can make enhancements on the fly. So
Okay.
we had a customer request some additional notifications be built into the system, and we were able to implement that. I think it took us a couple days.
What kind of changes did that client want?
They wanted to know, they wanted real-time feedback on battery levels and sort of warnings if the battery was getting too low. So we were able to implement that, like I said, in 48 hours, I think it took us.
Wow. Jason, Bill, thank you very much, guys, for introducing us to this world, to this Predator. It just looks so stealth.
It is.
I might want one.
And I just wanted to add one more thing about that. In my limited time so far in security, the one thing that I've learned is that, you know, without a deterrent, you're really just watching people do things that you don't want them to do.
Yeah.
So what our R&D department in Eyetrax has created is called a defender. So a defender also works off the same motion sensor that the camera does. So when a perpetrator comes into that certain area, it'll turn on an ultra LED light and it'll fire up a siren if you're in an area that allows that. So now you've turned your security camera into a security system, and it's really, really starting to take hold with the people that we're dealing with.
See, I have to have a talk with my wife now. She just bought a mock one of those things. It doesn't really work, doesn't really function. We're not going to tell them where we live, but it's worth a couple bucks we'll spend on a Predator.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Jason,
pleasure.
Bill.
Thank you.
And there'll be more to learn, more interesting facts on the next Cancom TOC.